Are you looking to build a nice backlit mountain mural like this for your RV, your camper van, or something at home? Follow along and I'll show you the step-by-step how I went about doing it. Just a teaser, there's not a lot of tools required and it was pretty easy. So I got this up there now and I've been cutting a piece of plywood. So kind of show you guys how it fits here. So that's kind of how it looks. What I'm thinking of doing here, or what I'm planning to do, is I'm going to put some other chunks of 1/2-inch plywood on here to kind of create a Mountainscape theme. If you remember, I have some additional wire back here. I'm going to fish through here. I'm actually going to put some LED lighting. This will be these Mountainscape with this LED lighting in the background. So I'm optimistic that should turn out pretty good. I will have to cut a small hole in here. I do have for my inverter that I'm going to have a 120 volt outlet somewhere around here as well. So I just finished, cutting these mountains out. Kind of just give it some rough sanding, and as you can see, I'm planning to put a 120 volt outlet here. Kind of my next step here is I need to understand kind of how to put the back supports in here. That's kind of create that 3D look, as well as where I'll be mounting the LED light strips. So what I've done, as you can probably see here, is I've just traced the line exactly where the mountains are going. I got to figure out kind of how much I'm going to recess it behind here to kind of get the look I'm going for. The other kind of component I'm planning to do is kind of create a border around this entire thing. If you look close, you can see here when I use the skill saw to cut this out, it kind of ripped the nice layer of the birch off, so it kind of looks not the best. So I'm going to just I don't know how thick of a board I'm going to put on here. It'd probably be about maybe 3/4 of an inch. So I just finished cutting a couple of these strips. It's the 1/2-inch material. I cut it 5/8 wide. It ultimately doesn't really matter. They're going to be hidden, but basically there's a support for the LED light strip, as well as I'm going to tack the mountain mural piece of plywood tube from here. So yeah, I'll start cutting them and placing them along here. Still need to figure out exactly how much I'm going to recess them down from there. I'm thinking a couple good inches will create a good glow when the lights are on. So I just finished kind of cutting all the the support for the Mountainscape, as well as where the LED light strips are going to go. As you can see, I didn't spend a lot of time trying to get the angles perfect. I really feel there's really no point to that. Here's the border that's going to sort of go around it. Yeah, now I'm just going to get the air nailer and just start tacking it in place. So I just finished giving the board a light sand with 180 grit paper. Remember before I had that trace line here, so I just got rid of that. The next step I want to do is I'm just going to apply some finish. Basically, it's a clear coat. I'm not intending to dye or just kind of stain the wood at all. So I'm going to apply that, because the next step here is I'm going to start installing these LEDs. So yeah. So as the other board dries, I thought I'd stain the Mountainscape here, the mountain board. The stain I've chosen, let's see here, is a Mini Wax Special Walnut. It actually doesn't say it there. There's a special walnut. It's always a good idea to, put the stain on the material before you use it to make sure you like it. This is the back side of the board. And yeah, I'm just looking for a little contrast between, the back side with the clear coat and the mountains here. So yeah, I'm happy with it. And yeah, I'll begin staining now. So the clear coat has dried. I give it a kind of a quick little sand with some 240 grit sandpaper to make it a little smooth now. So next step is to install these little LED light strips. You can see I've got this one already fastened down. If I were to start from scratch again, I would have one continuous LED strip. As you can see, I have multiple, geez, they're about 8-10 inches long. I had purchased these already for different projects, so I'm going to make it work. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to, lay this out. I'm going to drill a little hole here. I'm going to fish the wire. It's going to go to the back, and then I'm going to fish it to here. And then that way, as I put all the various strips together, I'll link all the wires together and they'll kind of work. On this side, obviously, I'm putting the mountain piece of plywood here, so it'll all be hidden. Not ideal, but I'm quite confident that'll work. And I'm just going to use some a little bit of wire here that I have to help join it all together. So I'm to a point where I can start, I believe, putting this backdrop together here. So, gotta fish that wire through. And I gotta get these wires here are the feed for LED lights. That something like that. There we go. My plan to kind of hold this in place is I drilled two pocket holes here, and then as well as I'm probably going to use some self-tapping screws and find a couple points there, and that should be good enough, I'm hoping. So after kind of looking at this, I decided I needed some support kind of on the bottom end here. Otherwise, once I put the mountains on here, I thought there'd be some deflection and whatnot. So I just kind of put a couple supports here that I'll also tack in from there. The last thing to do for electrical is basically just connect my feed wires to the lights here. So I'm just kind of warming up my soldering iron here and I solder everything together. Okay, so what I did off camera is I actually took one of these self-tapping screws and I put it behind this trim here. So yeah, also this trim was put along here all the way around. One thing I did on this side, there wasn't really any support. There wasn't any fasteners that I put in here. So what I did is actually in behind here, I put a PL adhesive on this plywood, kind of in the corner joint, and I put this over top. So it's had a chance to set up now, and actually it's quite sturdy now. So I'm actually quite pleased with that. You can see wrapped up all my electrical joints after they were soldered, and then I just kind of used some duct tape to kind of hold the wire in place so it's not moving around. So yeah, now actually I'm ready to put the last piece of plywood on. I thought I'd show you guys really quickly how I mounted this electrical box on here. It's just what I had at home, and it had this kind of mounting flange on it. So I just took some small screws in there, and yeah, that is how this can be held into place. Okay, this Mountainscape backsplash is officially done. See, I got my plug mounted here, and yeah, I couldn't be happier. So kind of show you what it looks like in the dark. So you get that and there. I think this will be great in the evening when you don't want the bright lights on. This will be good. And also have on this side as well.